Welcome to the Back to Life podcast, where we explore living well, loving well, and being well. I'm your host, Nicole, and I invite you to tune in for inspirational conversations to get you back to life. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Back to Life podcast. It's Nicole, your host, and we are wrapping up the Why Me series today with a big one: unmet expectations and setbacks. You know, those moments in life when you look up at the sky and say, really, God, this is what we're doing? Okay. And joining me again is my wonderful friend and licensed professional clinical counselor, Angela Barela. Angela, how are we feeling about this topic today?
Oh, Nicole, this one is kind of deep.
Yes.
I mean, who hasn't had a moment, maybe more than one, actually, in my life especially, where life completely derails your plans and suddenly you're just sitting there wondering if you missed the memo on how to get your life together.
Right? Most of us have some kind of vision for our life, whether it's about relationships, career, family, health, or even just getting through the day without losing our minds. We all have expectations. But what happens when those expectations aren't met? When the job offer doesn't come? When the relationship falls apart? When you don't get the house? When the dream you've worked on so hard just falls through or it doesn't happen? What then? And that's what we're unpacking today. It's almost like, Angela, it's almost like that one we did before, Disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that other series, so this is almost like a part 2.
So, I mean, let's start here, Nicole. What do unmet expectations, why do they hit us so hard?
Well, when we're talking about the weight of unmet expectations, come on. We have to start with, we're human.
Yeah.
We have to. So it's because expectations give us a sense of control. And we like to believe that if we work hard, play by the rules, and do everything right, our checklist is all gone, checked off, then life will unfold exactly as we planned. And we know that is a straight up lie.
Yes, exactly. And when it doesn't, it can feel kind of like a personal failure.
Yeah.
Like, did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? Am I being punished for something?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Life is not a vending machine. I really like that. You don't just put in good behavior, press a button, and get exactly what you want.
Yeah, say that louder for the people in the back.
I mean, if life worked like that, we'd been given a nap. I'd be given a nap at $1 million.
Well, I need you to share.
Yes. But really, so much of our pain around unmet expectations come from feeling out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where we can either spiral into frustration and bitterness, or we can learn to shift our perspective on things. Absolutely.
So now let's shift a little bit to the why me mindset and how to reframe it. It's that moment when you feel like, gosh, this sucks. Life is unfair. Yeah. And you feel stuck and everyone else is moving forward but you. And you're just sitting there going, hello.
That's a horrible feeling.
It is. It really is.
That mindset's a real struggle. Mm-hmm. It keeps us focused on what we don't have instead of kind of what's possible.
Yeah.
And the longer we stay in that, the more we stay stuck in it, the harder it is sometimes to get out of that. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, it is okay to grieve what didn't happen or if things didn't go the way that you expected them to.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be disappointed. The problem comes, again, when we get stuck in victim mode.
Oh, absolutely. Because listen, life is gonna life.
Yes.
But how we respond to those moments, that's what matters.
Absolutely.
And we can either sit in the pity party, which by the way is fine for a little bit, but don't invite anybody.
Oh yeah, we definitely need those.
Yeah, we do. Or we can start asking different questions. Instead of why me, what if we asked, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
I know that kind of sounds cheesy a little bit, but it really, if we can ask different questions, after we felt our feelings, it's like, what can I learn from this? Where can I pivot? Or what are my options? And that's something I when I talk to clients, I tell them, I said, look at all your options, even the ones that you don't want or don't like. At least you can make an informed choice that way.
Exactly. Even if it's taking a couple steps back.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes we are too busy looking forward, where even with our clients, they feel if they look back or they take steps back, it's a failure. And it's not.
It's not.
Sometimes you got to go back and redo things and figure another path.
But you won't know that until you see the picture, the full picture.
Exactly.
And then another thing you can ask yourself is, how can I take care of myself in this season? Because that is really important, because when we feel like life is unfair or we're slighted in some kind of way, we're not, we're stuck in a certain frame, mindset that sometimes we don't realize we're not taking care of ourselves.
Exactly. And I think that shift of thought is like really powerful.
Yeah.
Just because when you start seeing setbacks as maybe like a redirection instead of rejections, it might open some doors for new possibilities that you weren't expecting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So Angela, let's get practical and talk about coping strategies for navigating these setbacks. What are some ways that we can do that without spiraling into despair?
Spiraling.
Because, sometimes we like the spin.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Or no, sometimes we're just holding on to the spin. What am I talking about?
Sometimes we need that spin. Okay, so allowing yourself to feel it. Mm-hmm. Disappointment is a real thing, and giving yourself permission to acknowledge that, and kind of, again, not getting stuck in it, but allowing yourself to feel it and then moving on, kind of reframing the narrative. So instead of saying, why is this happening, or this was supposed to happen this way, try saying, maybe this is making room for something else.
Yes.
And try adjusting your timeline as well. Sometimes it's not just a no, or maybe it's more of like a not yet. Yeah. Maybe this isn't meant to be right now.
But we're so impatient.
Oh, 100%. Yes. We want everything right now.
Yes.
And practice gratitude even when it's hard. And I think sometimes that is the hardest thing to do when you feel like you're failing or things aren't going the right way, to actually practice gratitude. When you're frustrated, gratitude can feel like a bad joke.
Yeah.
But shifting your focus to what's still good in your life, it brings a lot of perspective.
Yeah, no, those are good. That's really good. And I'd like to also add, don't do this alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When life doesn't go as planned, lean into your community. Talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, hint, hint. Shout out to Angela and my fellow therapists. Lean on your faith. Absolutely. Or whatever that keeps you grounded. It is so important not to do this alone. And I know that has been a struggle for me. Sometimes I just want to kind of go, peace out.
Oh yeah, it's easy to hide in the little corner or your little bubble and not want to put what we feel are burdens or stress on other people, or just not even knowing how to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's not productive.
No, it's really not. And speaking of faith, when things don't go our way, it's easy to feel like God forgot about us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what if God isn't saying no? He's simply just kind of saying not yet, or I have something better for you.
Well, there's that not yet again. But you know what? That part. We cannot always see when our plans don't go the way we think they should, but God is still working. Even when we don't understand, there is a bigger picture, kind of like what I was saying earlier, there is a bigger picture. And sometimes that bigger picture is for our protection, it's for our redirection, or God forbid, it's our simple correction. Because, we're perfect, right? Anyway, we all need that sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes the things that we grieve now are the very things that are preparing us for something greater later on.
Yeah. It's hard to see that, though, in the moment. It is really hard
to see, especially in the moment, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, people, if you're feeling stuck, discouraged, or like life didn't read your script, just let's take a deep breath, because this is not the end of your story.
Yes. And if you take nothing else from today, remember this: you are allowed to grieve, but don't let it stop you from living.
Oh, no, we cannot do that. Yeah. So that is a whole word right there. So, okay. So that is a wrap on our Why Me series. If this episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to share it with a friend who needs some encouragement today. And if you need further support for that, Angela and I both can vouch. Therapy works. And it's always good. Like we said, don't do this alone. Yeah. You need someone to walk with you through disappointment and hard times, because sometimes it's a little speed bump.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a pothole.
Exactly. In therapy, it's not always pretty.
Nope.
But it gets you to where you want to be if you do the work.
Yes. And you know what? I saw this. There's this therapist on Instagram. Please forgive me for her. You know, if I figure out her name, I'll put it in the show notes because I can't remember. But one thing she said was that the goal is not to have better ways to escape the struggle, but the goal is to become the person who doesn't crumble under the struggle.
Oh, I love that. I need
Isn't that beautiful?
somewhere in my office.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. And like I said, once I figure out who this person is or what her name is, I'll put it in the show notes because I don't want anybody coming after me. But but I love what she said, because it really is about resilience, which is the name of this last episode was I Will Survive, because we will. We will get through it. And so, you know what? And you will get through it. You'll walk through it. And looking back, you'll be like, hey, that was hard, but it made it through.
Absolutely.
And that is so important. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and come hang out with us on Instagram. Until the next time, keep showing up for yourselves, and we'll see you at the next series. Take care.